Hi, this is Billy RL Real Life. I'm here in the Resistance studio with some of the Resistance team members, and I'm coming to talk to you about something I saw on TikTok, and the team saw it too, and we thought it was absolutely ridiculous. Those of you all who don't know, there's this show that has been on since, wow, the 90s called Law and Order, and they have different factions of this show as well. There's Law and Order Criminal Intent, Law and Order Special Victims Unit, is different factions of, branches of the show Law and Order, and is about these detectives. And once in a while, you'll find one or two detectives, but the majority of them are black. I mean, are white. Excuse me, they're white, and they're going around and they're solving these cases, and they're the big bad because they're the detectives. The trench coats and all of them, the suits and all. They're the detectives. So stupid shit. And they had this little theme song that comes on in the beginning. Now, every branch of the show, the theme song was a little different. On Criminal Intent, it's a little bit more grungy, whereas on the original show, the first um, variety of the show, Law and Order, Law and Order, the theme song is, kind of like 80s, 90s, crime, kind of like a mixture of 80s, 90s police crime slash The Fugitive, the movie. The show and its branches are the brainchild of this man named Dick Wolf. Mariska Hargitay plays on Law and Order Special Victims Unit, and then she also does guest appearances on Law and Order Organized Crime with this other little Mr. Clean bald-headed man named Chris Maloney. And so those two shows, Law and Order SVU, Special Victims Unit, and sometimes Law and Order Organized Crime, those are the shows that are the most popular with people. And with it being popular with people, Black people have taken to making the theme song of Law and Order, all the Law and Order shows, making it into a dance, as if it may be the electric slide or the Rasputin dance or something of the sort. Some fool even came out with lyrics to the song talking about, "You're taking you to jail, you're going to crime," and all of this stuff like that. And Black people are looking at this song as if it's just the greatest song ever. And I want to say right now, Black people, you're idiots. I'm telling you right up to your face, you're a bunch of idiots. You are making a dance to a song that belongs to a TV show that's about cops and detectives upholding law and order. And you all know damn well that cops and detectives, not all of them, but a huge majority of them, had done everything they can to throw the book unjustly at a lot of Black people. A lot of Black people, thanks to cops and detectives, have been falsely accused, thrown away in prison for years, only to find out years later that they were innocent. But it was the cops, the detectives, the DA that put that Black person behind bars. It was the cops, the detectives, and it was the DA saying, "Hey, you have my approval," beating the hell out of a lot of Black people in interrogation rooms. It was the cops that killed Sandra Bland, Philando Castile, Michael Brown, a wannabe cop that killed Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice. The show Law and Order, in case you don't know, was created so that the American public can revere the police, to look at the police as the authority, the only authority, the ones in charge, the ones that are superior to them because they have a badge and a gun. That is the whole premise of Law and Order. And to look at the law as something to be proud of, because you have the prosecutors and you have the DA, they're going out there, they're getting justice, they're doing this and that, and nothing can be further than the truth. Because let me tell you something, a lot of these DA prosecutors, they know exactly what's happening with human trafficking. They're not stopping it. A lot of them are turning a blind eye. A lot of these prosecutors and these detectives, they know exactly what's happening when they find dead, mutilated corpses that are the victims of satanic ritual abuse, and they turn a blind eye. But these Law and Order shows, and Dick Wolf wants you to say, when you look at Law and Order, whether it be Criminal Intent, Special Victims Unit, or the regular Law and Order, they want you to look at these shows and say, hey, wow, this is why I'm proud of the cops. I'm proud of the detectives. No, hell no. Especially knowing how they treat those of color, not just Black people, Spanish people too. But everybody loves Law and Order. But you know what? Not everybody loved New York Undercover. New York Undercover was the Black Spanish version of Law and Order. The only difference was that on New York Undercover, they were showing those detectives. Yeah, they were going after the bad guys, but they were also mentoring the good guys too. The young Black people coming up, the young Spanish people growing up, excuse me. It was more on the positive side than just being 100% on the negative side, like I see from Law and Order. I have never seen an episode of any Law and Order, whether it be Law and Order Criminal Intent, Law and Order Special Victims Unit, Law and Order, the regular Law and Order, Gorham, Eames from Law and Order Criminal Intent. I've never seen them say, we're going to go out and mentor some young people. We're going to go out there and tell these young people, don't do drugs, man, don't do this. I have never seen it. And I have watched Law and Order since I was in elementary. I've never seen it. Law and Order is still on. New York Undercover. Not only did they only have 4 seasons, but they were ripped off the air so rapidly that they didn't even get the type of series finale that they deserved. And you want to know why? Because Law and Order caters more to the whites. Here's more to the whites. We're NY Undercover. New York Undercover catered more towards the Black and the Spanish, the Cuban, the Puerto Rican, the undesirables when it comes to some white people. But yeah, New York Undercover, they have a theme song too, and their theme song is bad. I don't see Black people making a dance to that. No, Black people decided to make a dance to Law and Order and all the Law and Order shows. Shows that were created by racist Hollywood to get specifically Black people and people of color who are Latino, Hispanic, Mexican, Puerto Rican, to get them to revere the cops, to get them to understand that this is when you are in the crosshairs of law, there will be order for you. And we all know that in reality, when you are in the crosshairs of the law and you are of color, it doesn't matter if you are innocent or not. They are going to throw order at you, just like they did Philando Castile, just like they did Ronnie Law, the Black man who was wrongly convicted of SA, or rape, and served 44 years before his exoneration. So, but damn that, Law and Order has this catchy theme song, so let's dance to it. And because they have Mariska Hargitay and Christopher Maloney dancing to it, oh, now it's cool to dance to it. I don't give a damn what Mariska Hargitay is dancing to. Oh, just because she has a black daughter, that means that, hey, she's all right with black people. Why hasn't she talked about Tyree Nichols? Her and her, her having a black daughter. Haven't she has talked about Tyree Nichols? I haven't heard her say one thing about that. And yes, she should. Everyone should be talking about the unjust murder of Tyree Nichols, but she's not. But black people feel because Mariska Hargitay is doing the Law and Order new line dance. Hey, that's okay for us black people. Let's do it too. And as a matter of fact, it was black people who created this line dance for the Law and Order theme song. But then you wonder why, when you get stopped by the police, you're getting your ass beaten by the cops. And then you go into the interrogation room and you have good cop, bad cop, or good detective, bad detective. They're playing those roles when both of them are bad. And they beat the hell out of you in the interrogation room. And then they put on false charges. They put on you false charges that locks you up in prison wrongly and unjustly. You wonder why these things are happening. Because you are taking this show and turning it into something, hey, let's make a line dance out of it. Essentially, what you are doing is you are celebrating law and order. A law and order that has never been just for us. Never. It wasn't just for us when they sit up there and took a young little black child and electrocuted, fried him to death. That was under the law and the order. It wasn't just for us when they freely allowed the murderers of Emmett Till to go scot-free. That was under law and order, the criminal justice system. But damn that, because the law and order thing was so catchy, let us black people make a line dance to it. Why don't you make a line dance in the up and the cover? Why is that not white enough for you? Is that theme song not catchy enough for you? Is that what it is? You'll make a line dance out of a white show before you do your own black and Spanish show. And it's black and Spanish people today that are being unjustly treated, that are being treated unfairly, rather, by the criminal justice system. You black people are stupid. And I will say it again, you black people are stupid. You would never catch me dancing any type of line dance to some theme song from Law and Order. Fuck Law and Order. Fuck that show. And I don't care, well, the actors, they don't have anything to do with it because they're just doing their jobs. Right, so I have no problems with them. But the one who made that show, he knew exactly why he made that show. He knew exactly why he made that show. Because the government wants you to fear law and order of the government, of the criminal justice system. They want you to fear it. They want you to revere it, to treat it as if it's your master. Show respect to the criminal justice system. Show respect to law and order cops. They want you to do that. Hell, you can't even drive past a police officer and roll your eyes at him. If you do, you better hope he doesn't stop you. Because in their eyes, that's disrespect. You can't even do that because they want you to just treat the cops, the criminal justice system, the prosecutors, the judges, which are all bought and paid for, the DAs, which are all bought and paid for. They want you to treat them as if they are your master. And if you think I'm lying, look it up. Look up the cases. Look up, I've seen Law and Order with Christopher Maloney and Mariska Hargitay. The character Christopher Maloney plays and how he talks to some of these people before he's even found out if they're guilty. Going up against walls and all of that shit. All of that because they don't have respect for you, but you better damn sure have respect for them. That's why they created that show. So people can reveal, oh, I have so much, after seeing Law and Order, I have so much respect for the law. The police, I'm telling you, the thin blue line, I tell you, they want you to have that. When they shouldn't get respect if they didn't earn it. And a lot of these cops, a lot of these DAs, even these prosecutors, these judges, these detectives, sight on sight, they will treat a person of color, and it was on white people, as if they may be shit. But you better not do the same to them. And this is what black people are making line dances to. Shit like this shitty ass show. The hell with Law and I stopped watching Law and Order. I think it was after the Trayvon Martin case. I stopped watching Law and Order. I said I'm not watching this shit anymore. I am not going to spend time watching a show that's paying homage to a bunch of damn cops, detectives, and DAs who I know in all actuality, 99% of them are crooked as shit. They are crooked as hell. They are crooked beyond belief. Don't believe it? Look at what happened with the Zodiac killer. VAs, prosecutors, they knew exactly who the Zodiac killer was, but they didn't want to. And the reason why, because the guy who was the Zodiac killer had ties to the government. You don't know that, do you? And they weren't going to report their own. This was why that man died innocently, never spending time behind bars. And the police, the cops, the detectives, the DAs, they knew that he did all those crimes. No, you don't rat out your own. And then let's not get me started on the man in Fresno, California, who I can't think of his name at the moment. There was a man in Fresno, California, who found out that the Fresno cops and all of the law enforcement and the whole criminal system in Fresno, California were crooked as hell. And what did they do? They gang stalked that man for several months, if not years, and then they burned him up in a house before slitting his throat, murdering him. And I think they stabbed him several times too. The criminal justice system. And I can guarantee you, not only did the cops know about it, but the DAs probably knew about it because the LAPD are crooked as hell. But because there's Mariska Hargitay and there's Danny Florique, or however the hell his name's pronounced, and there's Christopher Maloney, and I see on there, hey, I mean, that makes the show cool. Fuck that show. The hell with that show. That show and all of its branches needs to be canceled completely until the police officers can start treating Americans as if they are human beings and not treating them as if, hey, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. This show and all of its branches don't need to be on air. I just saw a video yesterday. Cops came up to a motorcyclist on camera now, and the cop said, I'm going to choke the shit out of you. And he did, choked him to death. Went before the courts, the DAs and the prosecutors and all of the judges, and this man got off scot-free. The criminal justice system, now law and order. But now, yet and still, you all are dancing to this theme of this show that doesn't represent the truth. Because the truth about law and order is that it's all about police brutality. The truth about law and order is that a lot of these DAs and prosecutors, they're involved in the drugs. See, you already know that, did you? They're involved in the drugs and all the drug usage and the drug handling. They're involved in that shit, especially in California. The truth about law and order is that these prosecutors and these DAs and these detectives, they will lie to get a confession out of someone, knowing that someone did not do the crime, but will lie, put that person behind bars, have them spend years in prison, then say, okay, they served enough time. Let's come out and say that we lied and have them come out. That's the truth of law and order. You'll never see that on any of these shows. You'll never see that. This is why they won't make another The Fugitive. Remember The Fugitive Part 2, where they show police corruption, one of their own, and turning against them. See, they won't make a Fugitive Part 3 because that showed too much. Part 2 showed too much. No. With everything that's happening with black people today, including with Tyree Nichols. Tyree, he was hung from a tree, and where are the cops? Where is the DA to say we're gonna criminally investigate this? Oh no, they're not gonna do that because that's just an end. That's just another animal. Hey, that's the criminal justice system. Do you think they want to broadcast Tyree's murder on Law and Order Special Victims Unit? They don't know. Because when it all boils down to it, Mariska Hargitay, Christopher Maloney, Ice-T, B.D. Wong, and all these other people, they don't give a shit about people like Tyree. They don't give a shit about people like Philando Castile. They don't give a shit about the white motorcyclist who was choked to death by the cops. They don't give a shit about that. They don't give a shit about people like Tamir Rice. They don't give a damn about that. They're just doing what they were told to do. Make being a detective, a DA, a cop, make it look good so people can have reverence. I will never have reverence for this criminal justice system because this criminal justice system is corrupt. We should know that because we have a corrupt felon as president who the criminal justice system dropped the ball on. The DA, the prosecutors, the detectives let this felon become a president. You black people are idiots. Why? And I want to say this brand this video, I have seen video footage of black people going in front of cops, dancing to the Law and Order theme. And in one particular video, one of the cops, as soon as he saw I think it was two black guys, as soon as he saw them dancing in front of him, he put his hand on his gun. And I said to myself, look at these two stupid, dumbass black people. Look at them. Look at them. I guess they thought that if they danced to Law and Order's theme song in front of these cops would say, hey, yeah, that's right, no problem. Hey, y'all all right with us? One of the cops put his hand on his gun. And in my mind, from what I was seeing and the look I was seeing from the cop was saying, nigger, if you get within 5 inches of me, I'm going to blow your ass. That's the look he was giving. But see, black people think if they take this theme song and turn it into a dance, hey, that will cops will think, hey, we all right. They all right with us? They can turn on. You're idiots. You are absolute idiots. I would rather you all, I don't know if this show has a theme song, but if the Chai or Power has a theme song, I would rather you all make a line dance out of that than to make a line dance out of this shit. I would rather you all make a line dance out of the Sugar Hill, the theme from Sugar Hill with Wesley Snipes, than to make a dance out of this shitty ass show. And then on top of that, you have number 47 coming out. And he said when they first got into office this term, he said, I am the law and order president. That's what he said. And we know what he means when he says he is the law and order president. He is a law and order president against people of color. Because look at what he did to the, I can't think of what it was called, the New York the 6 guys in New York. I can't think of what they had a name they went by. But these 6 men were innocent and they were accused of rape, take off the G, of a white woman. And this president, number 47, put out a big whole page ad in, I think, the New York Times and New York Post saying that these men, I think they should get the death penalty or life in prison or something that he said that was totally wrong and against these 6 black men who were totally innocent now. So when he says he is a law and order president, we know exactly who he's talking about. People of color. People of color. As a matter of fact, you have in Washington, D.C., that Porky Pig mayor and the police chief, Porky Pig Cavalier. Yeah, we're going to work everything. We're going to work right along with Mr. Trump and Trump's presidency to make sure that we restore order. And who are they going to restore order against? The black and the brown people. As a matter of fact, they have taken away cash bail or cash bond for black people in DC. The criminal justice system now. The criminal justice system has tied into number 47. But you all are turning a song that is about Law and order, the criminal justice system, which is corrupt as hell towards black and brown people, into a line dance. This is why I say black people are doomed. You all are so, now scratch the doomed part. You're fucked. You all are so fucked that it is beyond imagination. You all are funding your own genocide and you don't even realize it. And I bet any amount of money, I bet you'll never see it in public, but I bet you any amount of money. Michael Lorenzo from New York Undercover. I don't know about Malik Yoba, but it probably him too. But Michael Lorenzo and a lot of the people, Luna, Lauren, Velez from New York Undercover, I bet you they've seen these videos of black people dancing to Law and Order, but they sound like these ugly, stupid ass people. That don't make no damn sense. And the cops, they're up there, they're there. And because Michael, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think he's Puerto Rican or he may be Cuban. I don't know. I don't know. He's Puerto Rican or Cuban, but he's of Spanish descent. It's his people that are being beaten up by the cops and thrown into the back of cars. The same thing with Lauren. And I bet you they are watching these videos. They'll probably never say it in public. They'll probably, you ask them, or say, oh, yeah, I think Van Chris are hilarious. But I bet you the back of their mind is into these stupid ass people. They wouldn't do it for our King song. They'll do it for this shit. They'll do it for these shitty ass shows. And how, knowing how these very same detectives and DAs and cops are treating people who look just like Michael DeLorenzo, just like Luna Lauren Velez. You all are stupid. Any black person who decides to do the line dance to the Law and Order theme, you are an idiot. You are an embarrassment. You are a disgrace to not only Philando Castile, but to Sandra Bland, to Sonia Massey, to Trayvon Martin, to Emmett Till, to George Stinney, and so many others. And before you move your lips to say, well, I saw Mariska Hargitay and whoever the other little blonde-headed lady, Kelly Giddish, or whatever the hell her name is, I saw they were dancing to it. Yeah, I saw that too. And I saw that while Mariska Hargitay was dancing to it, she was mimicking her as if she was pulling out her gun from her holster and firing at someone. Do you think that's a good look to have for when it comes to being a detective? The only time you should shoot at someone is if you feel your life is in danger. But we clearly saw from Philando Castile that that cop's life was in danger. We clearly saw with Sonia Massey that those cops, their lives weren't in danger. We clearly saw with Tamir Rice that their lives were in danger. We clearly know that their lives were in danger when they shot Daquan McDonald 16 times. So being a detective, being a cop, the most main thing about, because we did it several times, the most main thing about being a detective and being a cop is pulling your gun out your holster and firing at someone. That's the main thing about being a cop. I think it's damn, I didn't see her pull out any handcuffs. Detectives and cops, they have the notepads, the pens. Where was that? I didn't see any of that shit, but I did see her mimic pulling out a gun. And I saw a bunch of dumbass black Stevens from Django Unchained. Oh, yeah, well, all right, the rest go, and you whack to the bottom, you girl. And going out of the just stupid, dumb ass people. Dumb. Because who are the ones that are getting shot by the detectives and the cops? They're sure not people who look like Mariska Hargitay. You are damn idiots. You're idiots. And this is why they are doing what they're doing. They're making fun of you. I saw a few videos where had some white people dancing to it because, of course, they can. And yes, it happens to a lot of white people too. It does. I just heard a story of how this white guy, and I think they shot him so badly that he lost both of his legs. Yes, but when it happens to white people, and I have to admit, it's mostly happening to the poor white people. It's not happening to white people. I live here in Nobel, and the cops stopped me, and I was shocked. No, it's not happening to people like that. It's happening to people who live in the white people who live in the projects, the poor white people who are on the level of Black people. But I'm seeing in the videos white people who, and you can tell that they're stature, and they're dancing to this because they can, because they're making fun of you all. When they dance to it, they're dancing to it because it's their way of saying, damn right, we're going to uphold law and order against anyone, no matter what. Even if they claim that they're innocent, they're not. I think the thing that they say at the beginning of every Law and Order episode is that these people, along some of the things that they say, one of the things that they say along with something else, but one of the things I think they say is um, these people are innocent until proven guilty. Well, in reality, if you are a person of color, you are guilty until proven innocent, and then you may not even be proven innocent. Then even if you are proven innocent, you're still guilty. That's law and order. That's the real law and order. So I just wanted to come and say this, and I don't give a damn because I know I've heard that Christopher Maloney, he likes to, clap back a lot of times. Christopher Maloney, you can kiss my ass. And I will get in front of your face. I don't care how big you are. The bigger you are, the harder you fall, honey. I will get in front of your face and say, you can kiss my ass. Fuck you and your show. I don't give a damn about you or your show. Because I don't care how much I need a job. I'm an actor. What kind of show is this? Well, it's a show where it's showing detectives and they're, why do you want to show the reality of the criminal cases? What do you mean? Well, if I'm going to be an actor on this show, I want to know that you're showing some case. You don't have to show all the time, but I want to know that you're showing some cases where they're detectives and the DAs, they're crooked as hell, they're involved in drug smuggling, human trafficking. If you're not going to show that on this show, I don't want to be a part of it because I'm not going to present it. I am not going to act out on any show about the cops and about law and order. That's not reality. I'm not doing it. I don't care how much I need a job. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I will say this, and then I'm going to end this video. When Quentin Tarantino wanted to find someone to play Leonardo DiCaprio's character for Django Unchained, I think it was Leonardo. I don't know Leonardo's character's last name was Candy. I think his first name was John Candy. I think it was. They asked Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell said, "No, I can't do it. I don't feel comfortable," and he didn't do it. And you know why he didn't do it? Because Kurt Russell felt like this. Because that John, I think his name was John Candy. Correction, his name was Calvin Candy, not John Candy, Calvin Candy. But Calvin Candy. And Kurt Russell said no. And when I heard that and the team heard that, we said, yeah, we know why. And we don't blame them. As a matter of fact, we respect them for that because that Calvin Candy character, that was the most nastiest, despicable character we have ever seen, having black people mauled by dogs and talking about getting a knit rain, all of that. That's a horrible character. And I'm pretty sure that character would have, as Kurt Russell was already a big time star, but that would have even catapulted him even further than what he already is. But he said no. And I'm pretty sure Quentin Tarantino threw tons of money. No. The film, oh, that's right. It was a film that came out called Sinners, and they wanted another actor to play the role of to play one. I think it was to play the Ku Klux, the neo-Nazi Bert. That's it, the character Bert in Sinners. They wanted this white actor slash rapper. I think it's Megan Fox's husband or boyfriend. They wanted him to play the role of Bert. And he said, no, I don't feel comfortable. And when the reporter asked him why, he said, because it would have required me having to say the N-word, and I just, no. Now, do you know how big it would have been for him to play in that movie, in that role? But it wasn't worth him doing it because it did not align with his values. So at any time, Ice-T, I don't love him, but Christopher Maloney and all the rest of them could have said, no, if you're not gonna show the truth of how the criminal justice system is, No, we don't want to play in it because, in all actuality, the criminal justice system, whether it be on the East Coast, the West Coast, North, South, whatever, it is crooked as hell. They are involved in human trafficking. They are involved in drug smuggling. They are involved in the cartel. They are involved in satanic ritual abuse. They are involved in murder. They're involved in all of that. And you will never see that on any of these Law and Order shows. You'll never say they're involved in police brutality, the killing of black men and women, boys and girls. You'll never see that on any of these shows. They are only showing you the fictional fake side that they want you to revere. Revere, fear, and give the utmost respect to, despite the fact that the criminal justice system does not give us, the people, any respect. But yet and still, you have a bunch of dumb black ass people dancing to it. I've even seen black people who have t-shirts and sweaters on to have Law and Order criminal, you stupid dumb ass people. But I bet you don't have a shirt. As much as I can't stand this show, it's not really my favorite show, but I bet you don't have the Empire shirt. I bet you don't have a Power shirt. The Chai, I bet you don't have a shirt like that. I bet you don't have a shirt. This is Living Single, Martin, but you got a shirt, sweatshirt. I've even seen people have coffee mugs, Law and Order criminal, and these are black people. You are dumb as shit. And you wonder why you are getting taken out left and right. So this is what I wanted to say. I don't give a damn if you don't like what I said. You don't like it. It's probably because of the fact that you're just like Steven from Django Unchained. And excuse me for using profanity, but I'm tired of you people. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of seeing you all playing into your own demise. I wonder how long is it going to be before you all do a line dance to the Dukes of Hazzard theme song. You know, the Dukes of Hazzard, where you have that very, very racist man, John Slider, who is a racist ass man. Because of him, I will never watch Small. Me and the team have promised we will never watch anything he's ever in again, including Smallville. This man is racist as shit. But you'll remember the Dukes of Hazzard, where John Snyder and the other guy, I can't think of who the other punk is, and the bimbo in that show, and they were driving in the red car with the Confederate flag on the roof. When did you want to make a line dance about that? Make a line dance about that? Huh? Maybe you should make a line dance about that while y'all holding the barrels of cotton. Why don't you do that? Damn idiots. Number 47 is laughing at you. And his whole administration is they are laughing at you. And what I'm saying, this is not to my subscribers, because I know, and the team knows, that our subscribers, they know better. I'm talking about these dumbass black people that we see on TikTok dancing to, again, the Law and Order theme, holding up Law and Order theme merchandise. I even saw one stupid black heifer holding up her cell phone because her ringtone is a Law and Order theme ringtone. And when we saw this, we said, this don't make any damn sense. It would be better if you had the Starsky and Hutch theme song as your ringtone than Law and Order. Because at least back then, Starsky and Hutch, you did have some cops who were good. And then there was one episode, and this is our favorite, this is I and the team, this is our favorite episode, where you had this white cop, and he had shot this black man. And after he shot the black man, he simply said, "Oh, they're just niggers." And Starsky slapped the living shit out of him. And Maria was going to do worse until Hutch held him back. That's a show we can respect. And then on that show, you had two white detectives saying, they were solving crimes, catching the bad guys, but then they were also mentoring. You saw them mentoring the black youth playing basketball with the black youth. It was nothing like law. I've never seen that on Law and Order, and you never will. You never will. Now you probably will after this because it wanted to do damage control, but I've never seen it. And I have seen over 300 episodes, especially of Law and Order Criminal Intent. That dry ass boring show. with the one act only Gorm. I can't think of his name in real life. Vincent D'Onofrio. That just he only does one act in every film, every TV show. The most boring branch of the Law and Order series there is. But I never seen it. I haven't seen it on there. I never saw it on the first branch of Law and Order, the one that came on before any of the other branches. I've never seen it, and I never will, because that's not what the Law and Order series franchise is all about. So this is where I wanted to say, I am saying this on behalf of myself and the team. You Black people that are dancing to this Law and Order theme, you are all idiots. Your mama should be embarrassed, and your daddy should have pulled out. Your daddy should have all pulled out. Every one of your daddies should have pulled out. You're idiots. But keep shucking and jiving. Again, do the Dukes of Hazzard next. Hey, there was a theme song for American History X. Why don't you do that? And when you do that, why don't you do it with nooses around your necks? Why don't you do that? Huh? Why don't one of you play out whoever that big fat guy that was in the film who hated Black people? Why don't you have a big fat Black guy pretend to be him and do a line dance? Why don't you do that? Huh? Why'd you do that? Don't stop there. Birth of a Nation. Not the one that came out recently, but the one way back long ago that was racist. Why don't you do a non-dance to that? Do it all. Because you want the racist white people's approval so much. Do it all, Black people. Do it until one day there are none of you left. Because that's exactly where it's headed. This is Billy RL. I'm here bringing you the facts, the truth, and the knowledge, which equals to power. And it's not just me bringing the facts, truth, and the knowledge. The whole team is as well. But unfortunately, because you all do not, and I'm not talking about our subscribers, I'm talking about these Black people dancing to the theme song on TikTok, because you all don't have the good sense that your mamas and daddies put you in the world with, you don't have the knowledge. Ain't that sad? This is Billy RL signing off.
They taking you to jail. They taking you to prison, where you'll be locked up. They taking you to jail. They taking you to prison, 'cause you're a criminal. You said that you didn't do it, and they couldn't prove it, but they got you on camera, taking tags off at the scanner. Probably gonna need to call a lawyer, 'cause you're guilty, and that's why they are arresting you. That's why they charging you. Nobody wants to go to prison, but you got to. They taking you to jail. They taking you to prison, where you'll be locked